Hello and welcome to Millennial Moms Unfiltered. We're your hosts, Ashley
and Brittni.
And today we're going to be sharing some of you guys' worst date stories and also just talk relationships post-kids because why not? So without further ado, let's get in. You have to dance while you're waiting for it.
Yeah. I hear it in my head.
Yes, I know I can too. It never leaves my head, and I almost have to mute it.
Probably way worse for you because you're editing.
It just
constantly.
doesn't ever stop. It's pretty bad. I mean, I like the song, but when you listen to it 800 times in a row, it's
That's how I feel when I'm editing wedding videos.
I know
over them.
I bet. And you have to pay way more attention. I'm just like it's going
an
up there this way. Yeah. I wanted to do some housekeeping, if you will, and remind you guys that if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, that you'll be entered to win a one-of-a-kind tumbler, glass tumbler. I put the design up on our Instagram, so you can go check those out there.
They're so cute.
And leave your Instagram handle so we can contact you for shipping info.
They're glass.
They're glass with the
they're
wood
little
top.
Glass with the wood top. Okay. I want to make sure they're
and
glass.
I'm actually going to pick up little inserts, little thingies that I printed.
Cute.
Yeah, so it's super cute. We're going to be announcing the winner today. Actually, we'll do it now while we're talking about it. So this is a way for you guys to support us that is free and quick, and it makes a huge difference. So if you like to listen to our podcast, it helps us out tremendously. So I put the names of the reviews that we already have, and I'm going to spin it. And let's see. I don't have Instagram handles on these, so it's just whatever your name was. And this, I know who this is. It's Danielle Lee. So I will message you and get your information for shipping. You are our first winner. Next week we'll do another one, and so on. Every review that you leave, your name will stay up here, and if you win, we'll take you out, but your name will stay up here. So when we spin again, you have 12 chances until we, give away all the tumblers. So again, super simple, and it's a high success rate, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for the reviews, guys.
Yes, they're awesome. We love the feedback. We're getting so much love about the dynamic of the podcast topics, and we just love it. It makes us happy. This is what we wanted to do. So, yay. Was there something else? I don't know. I think that was probably the main thing. Yeah, I said housekeeping.
Giveaways, reviews.
Yeah, no. I think I thought of something and I didn't write it down, so now it's gone. We can just get rid of that one because...
Maybe it'll come back later.
Yeah, it'll come back sometime.
All right, so let's talk some of your best and worst dates.
So
stories.
I didn't want to do just worst because I feel like last time we did the mother-in-law ones, it was worst mother-in-law story. So I was trying not to be
We wanted negative. To hear some good stuff too, especially because we're going to be going into relationships a little bit.
Right. But you guys really like to share the dirt. You guys really, really like to share the bad stories. And I'm not going to lie, those are pretty entertaining. So I'm not mad about it, but I'm just saying we did attempt to get
Did we get
happy
any good
stories.
Ones?
I asked everyone to write, what's it called? Say worst or best so we'd know.
Yeah.
And I got a couple. And so far the ones that I can see say worst. And then the first few words that I can see look like it's not going to go well. So
all right.
We have a few submissions, and I'll have Brittni read because I'm not going to explain myself. That's why.
Oh, God. Okay. So I lost my virginity to this douchebag when I was 15 or 16 and was obsessed with him for years, but fucking ew. After chasing him for about 3 years, he finally asked me on a date. When I arrived to the date, he was there with his bestie. I felt like a third wheel on my own date. Pretty sure the two of them were secretly fucking long before and long after this date. Also pretty sure they have since parted ways and he has a new bestie fuck buddy, solely based on his obsessive Snapchat posts with this new dude. Wow. So
I wonder.
First date in a third wheel. Well, that whether they were having a secret relationship or not, that's lame.
It is lame, but I feel like at 16, that shit used to happen all the time. It'd be oh, do you want to hang out?
No, he didn't. He asked her on a date 3 years later. So they were 19.
Oh. I was at 16, I
Grow
feel
up.
like that happened. Yeah. I felt like that happened a fair bit. They're like, do you want to come?
Oh,
hang
yeah.
out?
Come to the movies with me.
And there'd be like other people there.
Yeah,
like,
no,
oh.
at 19, a proper date.
Yeah, no.
And she had already slept with him. So, like.
I feel like everyone has those people that you just kind of.
Yeah. Is he out as gay?
Really?
Or is he just.
I need backup.
There's so many questions when we get these stories.
You guys don't.
You don't give enough
elaborate.
tea.
Yeah, I want to know, like, you don't have to out anybody, but like.
No, you don't have to out anybody.
I
Was there another date ever?
How did
this is long before and long after this date, so I feel like it was just the one date. And will you still Snapchat friends with them, or just Snapchat posts? So
yeah, maybe.
They're not like directly to her.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
That was a lame date.
That sucks. I feel like everyone has one of those things that like they have connections to someone, and then after it's over, you're like, bro, what was I doing? And it's like you're so wrapped up in it that you can't see it.
Yeah.
And
I commend you for like having a crush for 3 years though, because like you probably were out of high school and like I lose interest after 3 months.
I literally will hang out with someone one time. I'll be like, and this is the ADHD in me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about this person. And then I like go out on a date with them and I'm like, no.
That wasn't it.
And it's because they drink water weird or something. Like,
yeah, you get the ick real quick.
I'm just like, I'm out. So I've been on a lot of first dates, but I get turned off pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's how I figured out that like Gio was my person.
Yeah, we should talk about how we knew later. We didn't get the ick right
That's
away.
not the sole reason, but
you did get gross out. By the way, he drank water. All right. Went on a date one time and the girl looked nothing like her pictures. I noticed when she had pulled up in her car next to mine and got out. I was going to drive off, but she knew what kind of car I was in. So I got out and we proceeded to our movie date. Just for me to find out she came from work. Want to know how I knew that? She worked at a seafood place. So can you imagine the aroma coming off of her the entire night?
That sucks. I also want to say that I had a couple of guys like, can we submit stories? And I'm like, yeah.
Is that a guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we had a couple for the mother-in-law ones too, that were from guys. And yeah, we're open to all submissions. And this is called Millennial Moms, but like, we're Millennial Moms. Like, you don't have to be a Millennial mom. It's just, that's our vantage point.
Millennial Moms.
I couldn't. That's one of those times I would cancel. I would be like, if I don't have time to go home and
shower
get ready
before
at the
our
very
first
least,
date,
I would be like, no, sorry, I can't make it, or can we push it to later? And as far as not looking at your pictures, I think that's like, that probably happens a lot.
Yeah, I wonder how many people get catfished. I worked waitress at 3 different restaurants, none of which were seafood places that I never would have gone on a date after.
Well, it's like, have you ever like hung out with somebody that worked at Dunkin' and then like
yes,
their hair,
I used to work at Dunkin'.
Yeah, and your hair just like retains that smell.
My
like,
hair, my shoes.
It's like
I had to leave my shoes like outside because they always smelled like coffee.
You can't get rid of it.
You can't.
It's
so seafood.
Crazy. I imagine that would be ridiculous. I knew someone that worked at Subway once, and like the meat smell, like. It was
gross. Yeah. Girl, she should have showered. Yeah. Before that date. And then like sitting in a movie, like you're sitting that close to somebody all night, you can't just leave.
And everyone knows where it's coming from because she's still wearing her uniform.
Her black button down in her tie.
What the fuck is happening over there? What movie did you guys see? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Like, did you have fun? Yeah.
Yeah. And then her not looking like her. Yeah, we said that probably happens.
I mean, I don't use like crazy filters anymore. I used to because I used to be super self-conscious. But I feel like I also show my regular face a fair bit. So if you come to my stories and you see me like with makeup on, and then later that night I take my makeup off and I'm talking on my stories and my hair's up, you're like,
it wasn't a filter.
What the fuck?
Just the makeup.
Yeah, but it's just like. It's not shocking. I mean, it's shocking to see, but like when you see me in real life, you're like,
I think I look like my pictures. I don't use
there
filters.
They are. Yeah, you do. I mean, no, you do.
Yeah, you do use filters.
Yeah, you use filters. You look like your pictures.
No, I don't use filters. I do. I am a photographer, so I know the right angles and the right editing, but I don't like alter my face.
I don't think that you look different from.
I've also never really online dated. Oh my God. I lost my train of thought.
I feel like online dating.
I was on a dating website for a hot second, but I didn't really go crazy. I have one online
I
dating
feel
story for
like
you.
it's more normal now
Yeah.
to meet people online.
Yeah.
But I think it still has like that stigma that it's like just for hookups, and like I feel like you catch a lot of that on there. I feel like a lot of stories that I hear from people that have online dated, it's like
I feel like people who meet online are still scared to admit that they've met online, even though that's the norm, especially after a pandemic.
yeah.
Like, you would think that would still...
Did you see that movie? Not movie. That show about these people that like went on one date. They met online, went on one date, and then ended up going to Costa Rica together or whatever. And they were stuck there through like 6 months of the pandemic there, and now they like live together in real life, and like
They like each other?
yeah.
Wow.
I want to say I think she got pregnant, but I might just be making that up. But it was when I was
that was
watching
what my
it,
brain made up to justify this story, because that is insane.
or oh no, she thought she was pregnant, but then she got her period, and then they were like happy again. But they lived together.
That's amazing.
That. Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm glad I was already married, because
Yeah.
I would not have wanted to be dating in a post-pandemic world. On to the next story.
Next story.
There's
Yeah.
nothing else.
I think I milked that one dry.
There's nothing left. 6 years ago, at 24, I went on a date with a guy who seemed charming at first. We decided to have dinner at a fancy restaurant, but as soon as we started talking, I realized we had nothing in common. He talked about himself the entire time, barely letting me get a word in. To make matters worse, he was rude to the waiter.
That always is like
I would have left.
yeah,
Sorry if that was a really gross noise in the microphone.
real close too.
And made some insensitive comments that really put me off. Needless to say, that was the last time I saw him. Looking back, it was a valuable lesson in trusting my instincts and not settling for someone who doesn't respect me. That disastrous date taught me to prioritize finding someone who values meaningful conversations and mutual respect. It may have been the worst date of my life, but it ultimately led me to appreciate the importance of compatibility and kindness in a relationship.
I feel like one, this is not shocking to hear. Two, at worst, mutual respect on a date should exist. At best, you guys click. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the bare minimum is mutual respect. And also not feeling like you're stuck there. Be like, it's okay to be like, we don't have to keep doing this. Like this isn't feeling right. Like
You want to call it?
yeah, I've done that. Like, all right, I'm gonna go. Like this. But I was an asshole at like in my early 20s. I really was. But don't feel like you have to stay on dates either, especially if they're like talking to wait staff like that.
I wish I was as confident and like, I don't know. I wish I was as confident then as I was now, because I probably wouldn't have gotten up and walked away, because she said she was 24. I don't think I would have. Maybe at 24. I don't know. I did like most of my, because I was in a very long-term relationship, single for about a year and a half, and then in another long-term then married to Pat. So that year and a half, I was only like 21, 22. I don't think that I would have like. I think I would have been very uncomfortable, but I don't know if I would have spoken up.
Right.
And I definitely would now. So
yeah,
I can see it at 24, like feeling uncomfortable and not knowing.
and you know that's
what
like
to
another
say.
thing. You know how people always like feel pressured to get married before they're like 30. Like if you're 30 and you're not married, it's like, oh my god, like that kind of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I also think about like dating in your 20s and just how underdeveloped everyone is as far as like experience and stuff like that.
100%.
So it's like, I don't know, I couldn't imagine getting married earlier than I did. Even though, I mean, me and Gio have been together for 8 years, and we got together when I was like 24, 25, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's different, but
I met Pat when I was 23, and we definitely have both changed, but we've grown together.
Right.
Which I know is rare. It doesn't always happen. But what I was looking for, like prior to him, or even when I started dating him, is not like obviously not what I would be looking for now. Like if he and I were to ever not be together and I was dating again, like totally different. And like, yeah, I would know within the first date if I ever wanted to see that person again. I feel like when you're younger, there is this pressure to find and meet someone, and you're like, I just want to, you'll just like deal with
things that you really don't
things that you don't even really
and sometimes
like.
It's not even that bad. It's just not compatible. Like you can't. I think it's important to be able to look past certain things, like not get hung up on everything. Like Do you listen to Gemini 94.5 at all?
Not anymore.
One of the
I don't
producers.
listen to the radio that much.
One of the
I listen to the
producers-
radio that much.
I do just like because I have
the
to
car
freaking
ride.
drive.
Yeah.
So one of the producers, she goes on dates like constantly, and it's always first dates. And she's like, "This guy, I just couldn't," because she's looking for like a fireman or a police officer
That's
does
super
this
specific.
and this and this and this. And then if those people don't match it, she's just like, I just can't. And she won't move away from that. And she's like, I'm getting older. Like, I want to have kids. And it's like, bitch, no, you don't. Because you're expecting something
too
from someone
specific.
that's not. I don't want to say all police officers and firefighters have certain attitudes, but they do.
Generally, the type of person who is in
They're
uniform
not
is
generally
not going
as,
to be
right. They're not as like gentle as she's looking for. So she's looking for a rugged man on the outside, and then won't deviate from this specific.
She wants a super sensitive, like,
yeah, and then just be
guy
like,
too.
yeah, I don't know. It's just the shit doesn't line up, but she won't deviate from that, and it's like you actually don't want to do anything, so you can't be that rigid in it.
you're too picky. Yeah,
But you need to also like know what you're looking for and what you can and can't put up with.
right.
Like what's fixable and what's not fixable. Are they willing to work on whatever, those kind of
Right.
things. But I think these people sometimes are. I forgot how I got to that point, but
Well, yeah, we were just kind of saying like when you're that young,
yeah.
you might not like stick up for yourself as much, and you might be uncomfortable in that situation. But like, don't settle. Like, definitely leave a date if
Yeah.
you're not vibing. Okay, worst date. I was 21 or so when I was just dating for fun, and there was this guy I think we met on Snapchat. Already a red flag, I know. And after talking a while, we set up a date. He was kind of a gym bro, worked for a moving company that I think was his dad's, and was definitely older than me. Anyway, we planned to meet at a Chinese restaurant, and as I'm pulling up, I get a text. I'm having car trouble. Can you pick me up? Red flag number 2. I'm sorry. So whatever.
The shit happens, but it's just like the timing of it.
But she goes, so whatever, go to pick him up. Pull up to a big house. That's his parents' house. Come to find out he lives at home. And the rest of the date was him taking over me and insisting on sitting next to me and talking about men being superior. I had an emergency come up and left his ass there. He still had the audacity to keep trying to text me. Thank you, next. Ew.
Yeah,
Definitely wouldn't have picked him up. It was the first time they were meeting other than
and if
Snapchat.
you're already pulled up, if you're pulled up to the restaurant and that's when he's like, oh, hey, so
he was already supposed to be there.
Be late. Yeah, you were going to be late. So I would have been sitting there by myself.
And
no.
I don't think he was having car trouble. I think he probably
Maybe he
didn't have a
have-
car. He didn't have a car.
Ew. But imagine being that like egotistical that you sit down and you're like, I'm sitting next to you, and then just like talk about how great you are. Like it's like, I just picked you up from your mom's house.
And
All
she
right?
was 21, so he's older than her, lives at home, doesn't have a car.
And I mean,
works for his dad's company.
It's the bulk of it together, but shit happens. Sometimes you live with your parents. Like, it's not inherently bad, but I think there's certain characteristics that if you live at home,
Also,
and
well,
you
not
also have
necessarily.
those, are just like
because like my sister and my brother lived at home a lot longer than I did, but circumstances were different. Like, I moved out when I was 21 immediately.
I don't think it's.
And like my siblings stayed at home because they couldn't afford to move out.
It's not always like horrible, but if you're like 46 and you're like living at home,
I'm just saying he was older than her, so he was older than 21. He was a gym bro. He didn't have a car. He lived with his parents and he worked for his dad's company. He was probably very enabled.
Did he pay?
Did they buy anything? Did they just went to Chinese to get? Oh, he did. He sit next to her, like in the same seat.
Yeah.
Ew. I hate that.
I know. I don't like it. I don't even do it with Gio. Like
I hate it
like
so
having
much.
my own space. Like if it's just the two of us, like I like to look at people, but imagine like
when I was a waitress,
insisting.
we would call them same side seaters, and I hated. I'm like, I don't want that table because they're usually groping each other. And you have to like go interrupt their makeout session to get their order.
She's like backing
Can't
away.
help you.
And he's like, I'm sitting here.
Oh, I'm sorry you had that awful date. Blech. Clearly, she knows her red flags. Which direction am I going for?
I would have
just.
just.
It's a long one.
Oh shit, that is a long one.
Holy shit!
What is that? 7 dates? God, first of all, if it was that bad, why do you have that much to write?
Maybe we got the details we've been asking for.
Okay, yeah, right. I'm gonna stop talking shit. Let's see what happens.
Oh man, I'm still scrolling. Okay. Hey y'all, let's get right into it. A couple summers ago.
Oh, you know what? I know what this is. This is the date, I think.
I was single and deemed it my summer of mistakes. Let me tell you, I lived up to it. I was 32 at the time. I work in customer service at a coffee shop, so any single good-looking customer was a potential victim of my charm, great personality, and wit. So I snagged up this one boy who looked young, but I was like, whatever, it's cool. I'm here to make mistakes anyway, so he can't be any younger than like 26, 27. So I confirmed with a regular of mine who happened to be his uncle. Yeah, he's 27, he told me. Okay. I can fuck around and find out with a 27-year-old. So anyway, I sneak in my number on a coffee cup one day. He texts me. We're chatting. I invite him over for cheese because obviously we get to talking, find out he is in fact not 26 or 27. He's a mere newborn baby deer still with wobbly legs. He's 23 and a fresh 23. I could have died. But I said, you know what? Summer of mistakes. Let's roll with it. Oh my God. We got along great. We laughed a ton, but that boyish charm was just too boyish. I want a mannish charm. Thank you. Anyway, he would rub my back all the time without me even having to ask, so I kept him around for a bit until one fateful night. The person writing this needs to write shit because it's funny.
We'll actually hire you once we get enough reviews.
Until one fateful night, he invites me over for dinner. Now, I love food, friends. Truly, what even is the point of life without good food? So I said, yes, obviously I'd love to. I'll bring something to sip on. He worked at a diner for a while, so I was like, man can cook. Well, silly me to assume something like that. I put on this cute little 1950s housewife dress that had a 10 out of 10 twirl factor.
I just want to say you're putting on way too much for a 23-year-old. You're doing way too, but also like I'll go on a date with you if there's going to be cheese. So
obviously,
just hold on to that. Put that one in your back pocket.
Right? And 1950s housewife dress that has a 10 out of 10 twirl factor.
Love it.
Made a delicious from scratch syrup for ginger something margaritas. I was gonna fuck
margarita. Listen, I love you. All right.
I was gonna fuck this dude tonight. He was always very nervous and timid if I even like touched his thigh. So it never got hot or heavy up until this point. But the back rubs with like the face. Like I was going to rock this guy's world and do things to him that his innocent little mind would never come up with in his wildest fantasies.
Again, way too much. Why?
So I show up looking cute as hell. He's in the backyard cooking steak over an open fire. And I was like, yep, he's getting the puss tonight, whether he wants it or not. But with consent. We love consent. He lived in the woods with no neighbors. So I left my purse and non-essential things to the night in my car because I didn't think anyone would bother. So I go inside and I'm doing my little Susie maker thing, prepping the margs while he's all fucking rugged and sexy looking outside, keeping the flames going, yada, yada, yada. I notice all the sides are inside as well, cooked and all the side dishes are inside as well, cooked and sitting there, cold. So I was like, okay, man doesn't know his timing, whatever. Good food is still good even if it's cold, right? LOL, right? So he brings the steak. We have a drink. He makes my plate and everything's going lovely. The sides are cold but decent. I bite into the steak and it's wildly overdone. I'm talking like the most well done. It was so tough and there was no flavor but smoke. But I'm like, no biggie. He's nervous, whatever. I'm being fed. He's doing all this for me, so I should be grateful. And I was. Honestly, I still am that he really put effort in, but he was just never it. Oh, yeah, and also a child. And I knew that, but summer of mistakes, baby. So we finish up. I make another round of bevies for us, and he's like, want to smoke a little weed? And I'm like, Hulk Hogan voice, hell yeah, brother. So he goes to get his bong, but instead of knocking out whatever ancient ash was in there, he decides to hit it. And coughs and coughs and coughs. And then
Does he just love smoke? Like, if that's the only, like, char... ash he's like about, is he a fire sign? What is happening?
And then his eyes start doing some shifty shit At this point, I'm a little tipsy, a little stoned because I smoke a fresh bowl pack like a normal person, and I'm feeling nice. Your girl is chilling. So he's showing me some collection he's got, and I notice he's kind of gazing out into nothing. I'm like, my brother in Christ, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he tells me. My sisters, he was not fine. He got up seconds later, and he bolted to the bathroom and locked the door behind him. I heard him throwing up. Like it was his job for 30 minutes. I'm knocking on the door, seeing if everything's okay. He's just moaning. He's just like moaning sounds at me, but the door is locked and I'm not going to break it down unless he stops responding. He's also got 2 roommates upstairs that I have never even seen in my life. And I'm like, fucking hell, I hope these people don't come down here to this messy situation. So after about another hour goes by,
I would have been out.
I'm at the door again and I'm like, hey, so I'm going to go. And he comes barreling out of the bathroom like, no, I'm fine. Let's still hang.
No.
So I'm like, okay.
Actually, I don't want to catch that. Like,
okay, that lasted all 5 minutes before he was back in the bathroom throwing up again, and then came back out to tell me that he was okay. So I was like, yeah, you should go to bed. So I take this grown-ass adult boy man to bed. He is incoherent. He can barely make words. I'm sitting there looking around his room, and I'm like, yep, he's definitely 23. It smelled like boy.
Oh, that's the worst.
He had condoms just strewn about, not tidy, very cluttered. I needed to get out of there. Dude rolls himself off the bed and onto the floor and says, this is good. I need to stay here. So me, the responsible one that can handle her 2 drinks and a little bit of weed, is like, nah, you'll be more comfortable on your bed. Let's get you up there. Oops. And he listens. And as soon as he stands up, he starts throwing up again into a plastic bag hanging on his closet door handle. Oh, look, there's a hole in the bag. So I'm trying to get this wildly out of it person to tell me what to get to catch his throw up. Oh, my God. More because it's leaking all over. Meanwhile, I'm like, wait a minute. I look so cute and it's going unappreciated. So while he's dying at my feet, I took a couple selfies in his mirror and sent it to my friend who was getting an entire play-by-play through the night. He stopped responding around the first drink because he fell asleep, so he had no idea the turn of events until the next morning. So finally, he stops throwing up after literal hours. I put the boy to bed, gathered my shit, locked the door behind me, and walked outside to my car. I get to my car. The doors are locked. Fuck. I left my purse and keys and everything inside this damn car. The house is locked. I can't even go back in. I peeked through his window, and he was knocked out already, and I did a little tap but got nothing. It was late, and most of my friends don't actually live in the same town as me, so I'm like, what the fuck? I'm really going to have to walk home in the dark like 4 miles. So I'm pulling the car door handles, hoping that by some fucking miracle it will just open. Wait a minute, this isn't even my car. It was one of the roommates. Lucky for me that 1, his car alarm didn't go off, and 2, my car was actually unlocked. I skirt right the fuck out of there and never look back. Somehow he made it to work the next morning, that young 23-year-old blood, I guess. He hit me up for a few times after that, and eventually I had to break it to him that it wasn't what I was looking for and that we should end whatever it was. He was super sweet about it and very understanding, truly a great person all around, just not a great person for me. He means well, he's got a lot of love to give, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a fucking weirdo when he said certain things to me. Like while we were just sitting watching TV one night, he looks at me and goes, I feel like I should let you know I'm a grower, not a shower. Like, ew, ick, I didn't ask. And I literally haven't even grazed your penis. Also, I don't care. The biggest dick I've ever had and was the worst sex of my life. A waste of 4 minutes I can never get back. And then after I called things off in September, October-ish, he texts me that January, tells me he's stoned and drunk, and you're writing a coherent text. Unlikely, my guy.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, you didn't die this time? Like,
and that he wrote me a poem months ago, and he didn't want the words to go to waste, so he sent me the poem.
Wait, why don't you tuck that one in and save it for your next girlfriend?
I think I've seen him twice at my job since. Nice guy, bad date. I'm sure one day he will make someone very happy, just not me. And that is on my worst date ever.
Yeah, so a couple things.
That was so long. I'm sorry.
Whew. Right when I was saying, like, certain ages, like, it's just not it. And then you get around someone older and they cannot, especially men, it takes them a long time to fucking, most of the time, get somewhere. And also, men get really fucking hung up on penis size, and like, it doesn't always matter. Like, it doesn't. It does not. And just stop doing that. Like, stop putting us in awkward situations. Let's just fucking see what happens, you know? Don't talk about it. We're gonna pretend. Okay, so has everyone seen the Drake video?
I have not.
It looks just like that churro. I
did see the churro meme, but I did not see the video. Is it just a giant penis?
Okay, even straight women we don't want that. We don't want that angle. We don't want to know about it. We're gonna pretend it's not there until we're actually on it, you know? Like, let's that would have been it. I wouldn't have made it to dinner. I'm gonna say this is the most like patient and like
the most patient. I want to know who that is, because you are like you deserve an award. We should take you on a date just to make up for that date.
An hour and a half that you sit there while he was in the bathroom.
Hours. She said literally hours.
While he was in the bathroom. She was just sitting there while he was in the bathroom listening to him fucking puke. I would have either like continuing to drink or like left.
I would have left.
I probably would have left too.
There's no way.
I thought this was going to take a serial killer turn just because that's usually where my brain's at, and it didn't, but this is almost just as bad.
Also, I'm glad it wasn't like a bug that you also caught, because that would have been terrible.
No, that's like what I used to be like when I smoked weed. Like,
I think you just smoked too much weed?
Yeah, probably.
That's what happened, and he like, couldn't handle his drinks.
Nauseous.
She probably made stronger drinks than he was used to.
I was going to say, what were the margs like? I bet those are fucking great. I make strong margs too, and I probably made people throw up.
I mean, but I was like a heavy drinker at 23. I don't want to say heavy drinker. I was never an alcoholic, but I was like, those were the days that we were going out partying.
I think about how much I could handle, and now I'm like, how at that size were you like drinking that much? It was not safe. I'm, you know, like,
no, I was going out having like, it was bad. Between the ages of 21 and 24, I drank like 3 nights a week, like party with my friends, drink.
Yeah.
Like, too much.
And now I like, if I have more than 3 drinks, I feel it for like the next 4 days.
Oh my God. We had 2 drinks. I had 2 sangrias for our Valentine's Day date. And I didn't feel drunk, just felt physically like my head hurt. My body started to hurt.
Worst.
And I didn't even feel tipsy. I was like, because I just have the physical reaction because I'm too old now.
That's happened to me too. That's how come I really can't drink wine anymore, or like the sweet, like too
nothing
sweet.
With sugar.
It definitely makes it way worse, and that's like a pain in the ass because I like those things. Oh, that was the last one, the longest one, the best one. No, it wasn't. This is the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, damn.
There's one more.
One more. Here we go.
Okay. There have been a few dates apparently. There have been a few from a guy who made it seem like he was involved with his kid to the car salesman that I'm pretty... All right, hold on. My brain's not... There have been a few from the guy who made it seem like he was involved with his kid to the car salesman that I'm pretty sure would have put something in my drink. That date lasted all of 10 minutes before I left. There was one date in particular that the guy just happened to have picked time, date, location for the date. Great, off to a good start. I looked up the restaurant to get an idea of the atmosphere, menu, and potential outfit choices. I get to the restaurant before he does. Actually ended up being a snowy night, so I wanted to leave early just in case. Now that restaurant stated fine dining on Google. I dressed appropriately. This man shows up in a sweatshirt and basketball sneakers. Found out what actual kind because he was slipping all over the road after the date. He did nothing but brag about money, making it clear it was not an issue for him. He was condescending and ignorant. He had made a comment about how he'll beat up the next person who bumps into our table. After the date, we walked to my car, and I gave him a ride to his truck. I know, dumb move, but I felt bad because it was snowing. We get to his truck, and I get out to give him a hug, and he kisses me, and I'm just not feeling it. He tries to invite me back to his place. I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm going to head back home. Decided it was best not to have any more contact with him, even when he attempted to add me on Snapchat and redid his dating profile when we matched again. I was a little confused by the beginning of that, but it sounds like... all right, so... the basketball shorts and sweatshirt. I mean, basketball sneakers and sweatshirt.
Yeah, that's a thing, though. Like
at a fine dining restaurant?
Yeah, I don't agree. I feel like you get something that's leather for shoes, you know?
grown-up shoes.
But like there are like sneakerheads that think because they're like $400 sneakers that they can wear it, and it's like, no, not how it works, boo. Sorry. That's like my least favorite kind of person. I make so much money.
I don't like people who talk about money.
But it's like, I mean, I don't mind talking about money. I don't care. But it's like, if that's your personality trait, like that is what you are is just like, ugh, no depth, boring. I would have let his ass ice skate right the fuck back to his truck. And I've been in a situation where someone like was trying to kiss me, and I was like, and it's just like flat lip to like, and I was like, okay, bye. And then they were like, I took you out, so you need
like
to invite
you
me
owe
up.
them
And
a
it's
kiss.
like,
No,
it was like $50. All right, we're gonna need to add a couple zeros if that's how we're gonna do things. No fucking thank you. So awkward. I don't know. And this is why, like, I'm so happy I ended up who I ended up with, because I've never been in any of these uncomfortable, weird things with him.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think about how many stories like this we hear and how many men carry themselves like that and in these ways. And it's just like, But all these kind of people, all these kind of guys, I bet you they blame us. Like, it's women for not appreciating me. I have all this money. How dare she not want to have sex with me? Even though I'm a grower, not a shower.
That just makes she doesn't even know yet. She's gonna give me a chance.
It actually doesn't grow either. Because now you have to live up to that. Like, you know what I mean? Just shut the fuck up. I don't care. I've never described what my vagina looks like to somebody. Ever. Can
you imagine, though? Like, you imagine if women said the things that men said.
Imagine if they did the things. Well, listen, I need some man to tell me why you guys send pictures like this. What angle is that? Why does that happen? Like, there's not many angles for it to look fantastic. That's not the winner, you know?
Also, I want to know if there's ever been a solicited dick pic.
Yeah, has anyone asked for a dick pic?
Has anyone ever asked? I've never asked for a dick pic. Ever. Have you ever asked for one?
I mean, probably, but I've also, it won't, like, compute just because I've gotten so many unsolicited. And then I just, like, I want to dissect that person's mind. Like, what was the point that you're like, you know what, I haven't talked to this person since high school? Dick pic. Like, was there drugs involved? What did you think I'm going to say, my online profile, just like how I speak and what I do, what made you think that I was the one that was going to be like, oh, yeah.
I've gotten unsolicited dick videos on Snapchat when I had a boyfriend. What made you think I wanted any part of that? Like, wasn't even talking to the person. Like, hadn't talked to them in years.
I've never felt the need to do that.
Was it an accident? Did you mean to do that?
I've never, ever felt the need to be
why were you doing, why?
If the conversation wasn't heading in that direction, you know, we're getting there. I've never just been like, here's my areola. You know, like, I've never
just helicoptering your titty.
It's just, yeah, what the fuck is happening? Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
That's
Men
number
are gross.
one.
I mean, I'm married to one. Men are gross. They're disgusting.
Gio never sent me dick pics until we were, like, together for real. Like, he never did weird shit. I was never like...
Never grossed out.
Yeah. So they're out there, guys that are women that are still dating. If you're looking for men, they're out there. It takes a while. You got to kiss a couple frogs without consent sometimes, and it's not okay.
I mean, it happens. I feel like there have been definitely non-consensual kisses, which is pretty bad.
I could go on and, like, think about this forever.
Do you feel was there ever a time where you just, like, kissed the person to, like, end the date and get over it, and then never talk to them again? Because I definitely did.
I just, like, blow back, like,
go
off me.
I feel like I've been too nice on dates where, like, they think I like them.
You just, like, shake it.
They think I like them, and I'm like, I didn't like you. I know that I did not show that, but I didn't.
So this isn't a date story, but it's actually hilarious. So in high school, there was this kid that was older, and there's probably something wrong with him, but I don't know. He was like, I think he was a dick pic sender. Like everyone knew this one kid because he like tried to like talk to every single one of like the younger girls. It was like a thing. So it's like only a matter of time till he finds your screen name and all that. So me and my friends used to just fuck with people because it's hilarious. And I still do. I mean, not to this degree, but I mean, like, if you're texting me and you have the wrong number, I'm going to go along with it for a little bit. Just because, like, if I have time that day, I need to laugh. So anyway, going along with it. And he was like, he liked feet or something. This was my first encounter with a footy person. So he's like,
is that what they call themselves?
No, I just made that up right now.
Okay.
So a feet thing, but I was like, I have to tell you something. I had my leg amputated under the knee and I don't have a foot. And like, mind you, like, he's in our school, but we never met. I don't know how he got my screen name. Like, he was just everywhere. And then he was like, well, that's okay. You got the other one. I said, no, both of them. Like, I'm just fucking with him. And then I was like, will you rub my nub? Like, and like, he was just like all about it. And he's like, are we going to meet? Are we going to meet? And I was like, yeah, I picked like some random place. Like, it's not even the neighborhood I lived in. And then like 2 hours come by and he's like, you never showed. And I was like, how am I going to get there? Like, and he like wouldn't leave me alone, but like, dumb in retrospect to you know, entertain something that much for someone that's potentially dangerous. Yeah. But you're setting yourself up for it. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking feet, okay? I'm ticklish and I don't get it.
We're not
freak me out a little bit.
We're not icking someone's. We're not yucking someone's yum.
We're not doing that. That grosses me out, that saying.
Grosses me out.
What? But it was just like, that's an easy thing to say. Like, you like feet? Well, I don't have feet, so you're gonna leave? Like, creepy. Just creepy.
Yeah.
Men are creepy. I mean, that was a boy. That was like high school.
That was a boy. Creepy boy. Yeah, man. Dating. I'm glad that I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, same.
I'm sorry about your dates, guys.
Yeah, this episode was supposed to be like
we
the stories and hybrid our relationship, but I feel like we might cut it here and then do next week's episode about healthy relationships. Let's talk about how we can have healthy relationships, because I think we got a good bunch of examples of not healthy traits in partners. So follow us, like us, do all of the things on social media. Don't forget to leave us reviews for your cups. It's 12 chances to win, and we will catch you next week.